So God of Time is strong enough to like throw Aiden into a trance. That's very interesting. Highly no actually, is he? I mean, he's giving the trial to Golden Fox as well. I mean, Golden Fox is on the level of Aiden, maybe weaker a little bit, but kind of around that level. So I'm guessing the God of Time is stronger than Aiden in some manner. Killing the God of Time would help us fight Aiden, definitely. I can assume that the prophecy that has been given to the strongest mages participating in this tournament, and maybe some of the hotshots from Varathia like Tarath, Golden Fox, or some of the kings. You can't just throw around guesses though. We need some solid information around. The only ones who could have this information is the Time Weaver herself. Rose already told us that the only people she remembered visiting after leaving us were Zarius and his pupil, I say. She said that everything in her head was blurry after that. Well, she should try harder to remember than Naraka says. She is the only one who could realistically find out this information without us having to scour the entire continent asking random people about it. It's not like we can just skip over the step of the plan either. Like I told you yesterday, keeping the God of Time from gathering in new energy isn't enough. We also need to make him expend as much energy as possible while he's maintaining the rituals of his. A pretty good idea of what sort of things we could do inside these rituals to force him to spend a lot of energy. Unless everyone else that gets trapped in these rituals does it too, it will just be a waste of time. By the way, what about that other thing we need from Rose? Is she working on a way to keep Selkram from stealing her time reversal power in the future? Is she working on a way to... Oh, like stealing would be incorrect. More like temporarily taking control would sound correct. I mean, stealing sounded like he just like took the power and left. Okay. Because there's not much use in fighting someone who can just reverse time to heal his wounds every time he's in a pinch. Right, he could use Rose like that. Rose hasn't even managed to use any of her time powers successfully yet, I say. She has been trying to activate them for the past few days. It's nowhere near as easy as it was when she was connected to the Magium. It doesn't matter if she can control her powers or not, Arka says. This is an entirely different matter. Restricting control of her powers to other people should be easier to do than using these powers herself. Tell her that she only needs to figure out where the time reversal power is located in her mind and to hide it behind a wall that is unbreakable by outside forces. Okay, I say, I'll tell her that. Not sure how much it will help, but I'll tell her. She'll be fine, Araka says. If she was smart enough to figure out how to use her time powers while connected to the Magium, she would also be able to figure out what my words mean. It's probably going to take her a while to actually put it all into practice, though. I'm impressed, Melinda says. You really seem to have put a lot of time and effort into this plan of yours, Araka says. I didn't know you had it in you. I've always pegged you as more of an improviser than a careful planner. Araka is a lot more cunning as she lets on, Eluna says in a cold tone. You should never underestimate what she is capable of, even while trapped inside an amulet. Now, Eluna, Araka says, you're almost making it seem as if I were the enemy here. We're all in the same team, remember? But yes, it will most definitely has been a while since I've put so much effort into a plan like this. Feels almost as if I were back in the magical plane, hatching one of my grand schemes to take down the gods and their allies. Of course, things would be going a hell of a lot smoother if I didn't have to carry all this dead weight with me. But beggars can't be choosers, am I right? Hey, Hardwick says, I'll have you know that one of those dead weights you're talking about is going to be a future winner of the Magium tournament. He then turns to me with a grin. Isn't that right, Barry? Hardwick says, huh? Oh yes, of course, I say in a slightly hesitant tone as Kate turns to me, look at me suspiciously. Araka says, the winner, right. She remains silent for about 2 seconds and she continues. So anyway, there is much more I'd like to discuss with all of... What? So anyway, there is much more I'd like to discuss with you all about Selkram and his weaknesses, but like I said before, our top priority at the moment should be to get in contact with one of the spirits from the magical plane. Therefore, I will spend the remainder of this meeting trying to teach Darren and Hardwick the basics of auras in the hopes that we can actually make some meaningful progress this time around. Rinald says, everyone else is dismissed. You can go tend to your own tasks regarding Selkram or whatever it is you want to do. Didn't Hardwick come over here? We got work to do. As everyone is moving away from the meeting area, I get ready to leave as well, but just as I take my first step, Kate places herself in front of me, blocking my path while looking at me with a very serious expression. Try to walk past her, ask her if she can move aside. Listen, if you want to confess your feelings for me, this might not be the best place. That's a good one. I'm going with that, definitely. Listen, if you want to confess your feelings for me, this might not be the best place. I see that you still haven't lost your unique sense of humor, Kate says. That is good. In a way, it shows that there are at least some parts of you that remain unchanged. It's the parts that have changed that worry me, however. What are you talking about? I said, trying to feign ignorance. Nothing has changed. I'm still the same guy I've always been. And why did you hesitate earlier when Hardwick said you would be the one to win this tournament? Kate asked me. Oh, I say, as I take a few seconds to collect my thoughts before I answer a question. That was just... He caught me by surprise, that's all. I was in deep thought about Araka's strategies, and it took me a while before I realized Hardwick was talking to me. Is it really so strange for me to hesitate answering a question that you'd need to go out of your way to ask me about it? No, Kate says, but this isn't the only time when you've acted out of ordinary in the past few days. You've been behaving strangely ever since those rituals. Since, even if you are still trying to act like your old nonchalant self in order to avoid arousing any suspicion, it is as clear as day that you have only been pretending. You used to have this sort of stubborn ignorance regarding any sort of obstacle that would realistically be impossible to surpass. It was neither courage nor a lack of fear, it was something else. It seemed as if your previous self was literally incapable of processing the very notion of danger, but now you're different. Somehow you become able to understand what danger truly is, and it's eating you up inside. That is amazing. I'm amazed that Kate was able to figure all that out. What is she, a psychologist? That doesn't make any sense. And actually, because Kate has always been very isolated and she has not been in contact with people a whole lot. For some reason, her like social skills are on the next level to fucking understand something like this. To like just, she broke down my character. Barry has been broken down in this one. Interesting. She then pauses for a few seconds and she frowns at me while looking directly into my eyes. So are you planning to talk about it, or are you just going to keep pretending that nothing has happened? Kate says. Wow, I say. Really managed to read me like an open book, didn't you? I suppose there's not much use in hiding it any longer. If you were already able to figure out this much on your own, let's head over to those two rocks over there and I'll tell you what you want to know. Kate and I start walking towards two big rocks facing each other, which are still on top of a hill we were on, but far away from Darren, Hardwick, and Araka having their training session. Once we reach the rocks, we each lean with our backs against them as Kate crosses the arms, looking at me intently. So I guess I should start from the beginning. I said, do you remember that time when I told you how my little sister got possessed by a banshee 15 years ago? How she killed my parents before I had a chance to save them? Yes, I remember, Kate says. But it turns out the real story of what happened was a little different, I say. I only realized this in the ritual, when the god of time forced me to relive my past. But the fact of the matter is that I was never too late to save my parents from the banshee. I was right there watching them get killed. I was too scared to do anything about it, and I simply froze up in fear. It was only when the banshee tried to kill my brother as well that I finally managed to muster up the courage to attack her. This was something that had completely blocked from my mind for the past 15 years, and the only reason why I remembered it was because I needed to recreate the exact events of my past in order to get out of Selkrum's ritual. I see, Kate says. She's starting to look a little worried. The thing is that it wasn't just my memories that were affected by what happened back then. I say somehow I must have felt such a strong need to never freeze up in fear again that I subconsciously eliminated my survival instinct from my decision-making process. But now that I realize what happened, it's a little harder for me to maintain the same attitude from before. I just can't help but ask myself if the decision I'm making are really okay, or if it's only my defective instinct kicking in again, clouding my judgment. But now that I realize that what happened, it's a little harder for me to maintain the same attitude from before. I just can't help but ask myself when the decision I'm making are really okay. So yeah, she's becoming more deductive and taking into account things like, yeah, I might die from that, instead of going, yep, I'm sure we can figure something out. Is this why you were hesitant in answering Hardwick's question? Kate says. Are you starting to have second thoughts about your reason for joining this tournament? No, I blurt out at first, but then I take a few seconds to reconsider my words. I mean, I don't think so. I still want to win and become a mage. It's just that I paused, not know exactly what to say. It's just that you are no longer certain that you can achieve this impossible like before, Kate says. More than that, I say. I don't even know if the prize I'm seeking is really what I thought it was anymore. I have no idea if there's any way to use Magium to grant me magical powers. I'm not even sure if I still want the Magium. All of the legends used to say that it was supposed to be the source of all magic. But I think it's much more than that. We almost got erased from existence solely because Araka chose her words wrong while we were in Magium's territory. Even if I gained access to the Magium, what then? How would I even know how to use it? There's no way I could even ever learn how to manipulate that strange world with the same confidence that Araka did. And to make matters worse, one simple mistake from my part could lead to my instant obliteration. If I somehow won the tournament, I could freely use the Magium. How would I even know where to begin? Didn't you tell us that you were supposed to have some innate understanding of the Magium thanks to your Lassethi blood in your veins? Kate says. Or at least you should, according to Araka's theory. If that was true, then you might have a greater chance to get some real use out of the Magium than the mages that joined the tournament. Yes, I say, but I used to think that the Magium was the source of all magic. in that context, it wouldn't have been unrealistic to assume that I could use it to make me into a mage. But now I'm seeing that Magium is what I'm capable of. Now that I have seen what the Magium is capable of, I'm not sure if I want to use it anymore. Just the thought of going back into the world is making my hair stand up at the back of my neck.